Assalamu Alaikum Friends, welcome to another camera review. Huawei's latest addition to its mid-range section, the Huawei Y9 2019, has got a very interesting camera setup. It has 4 cameras, 2 on the front and 2 on the back. The rear camera has a 16 megapixel f2.0 sensor accompanied by a 2 megapixel depth sensor, which allows this phone to shoot portrait photos. It has a single LED flash. Front camera has 13 megapixel sensor with a wider f1.8 aperture, which is also accompanied by a 2 megapixel depth sensor. Camera interface has been brought directly from the Huawei P20 series. It has all the necessary modes. We can toggle moving pictures on or off. We have AI toggle which post adjusts the camera settings based on the object you are shooting, although I kept it off during my testing. In settings we have options to enable auto capture by detecting smiles, and there is also object tracking option. We have standard 1080p video recording and no 4K recording here. Portrait mode has sliders for bokeh and beauty effects to let you take better shots with blurred backgrounds. Night shot does the similar thing which Google's night shift mode does with Pixel 3. If you leave the shutter speed and ISO on auto, it will take long exposure shots while compensating for your hand movements. And then we have aperture mode, which helps you control your bokeh shots better. We have additional modes including AR lens, which puts stickers on your face. We have time lapse, document scan, panorama, HDR, watermark, and very useful pro mode, in which you can play with metering mode, ISO, shutter speed, exposure compensation, focusing modes, and white balance before taking the shot. It also works with the video. Let's have a look on some camera samples. You can see that in daylight, photos are well exposed and eye-pleasing. Photos are good in contrast and colors, details are very sharp. HDR also works great and distributes exposure evenly. But HDR photos come out to be less contrasty often, as shown by this photo. In general, sometimes colors are so much boosted and saturated that they look artificial. The color of this sofa is not so much orange as it is showing it to be, but sometimes colors are washed out and results are non-consistent. And I think this is a software related issue, so I am hopeful that this problem might get solved with future software updates. Some photos exhibit very good colors even in indoor conditions, so I think this inconsistency will not be a huge deal for many of the normal consumers. Here are some other outdoor shots compared with their HDR counterparts. Portrait shots from the rear camera are certainly appreciable. Edge detection is good even with relatively busy backgrounds. Skin tones are also great in portrait mode. Now let's talk about some low light stuff. Once the sun is down, photos are less sharp and have some noise. But we have a very capable night mode, which brings out detail and gives you a sharp, colorful, dramatic and better exposed photo. But sometimes you can see some over sharpening happening in night mode photos. But these photos have much better contrast and exposure, as you can see in the sample shots. It is evident from the sample shots that the camera doesn't perform well in auto mode, and you need to turn on night mode at night in order to get a usable shot. But the night mode also has some limitations. For example, it doesn't play well with motion and you cannot turn on the flashlight to make the things better. Enjoy some nice night mode shots and tell me your thoughts in the comment section. Going to extreme conditions, auto mode camera couldn't lock focus and only the outline of the flower is visible. Night mode makes the things better, but focus is still missed out. But of course, turning on the flash will eliminate this problem in close-up shots. Same thing happened with this shot, but this time night mode delivered a much better shot. Coming to the front camera, it produces nice images with good skin tones. One thing you will notice right away that photos from the front facing camera has very good dynamic range. Portrait shots are good, but edge detection is not as good as we get from the rear camera. But bokeh looks nice and creamy. Front camera bears a greater hit in low light and you will notice some blur in the photos. But you can illuminate the screen while taking the shot to work as a flash. Portrait mode from the front camera in low light does pretty good and bokeh balls are also created. Let's jump on the video section. It shoots in 1080p and 4K is not available. In broad daylight, video is quite good with fine dynamic range and colors. I noticed some unpleasant over sharpening happening. Exposure jumps on the other hand are quite smooth. It doesn't have the optical image stabilization, so the footage relies on EIS, which gets the work done, but video still remains shaky. Low light video is quite noisy and exhibits poor quality. You be a judge of this video. This is the video recording from front-facing camera of Huawei Y9 2019 in 1080p, which is the highest resolution possible. Audio is also recorded via internal microphone, so you can have an idea how the audio quality and video quality is from this phone. Low-light video from the front-facing camera is also better than what I expected. It has less noise and colors are quite accurate. Wrapping up this review, I would say that Huawei is a good contender in smartphone camera space. It offers decent camera quality, but you cannot ignore some of the shortcomings. If you can live without 4K and good stabilization, you will be happy with this camera, especially if you love portrait mode photos. That will be all from me. I will see you in my next video. Allah Hafiz and subscribe if you don't want to miss the full review.